And we're off. Okay. So hopefully Mickey and Drissa can log in a couple of minutes and join us again. But welcome everybody. My name is Satyavani, and I'm one of the owners of the Zen Spot Institute. And my lovely colleague and actually the brainchild behind this program, Lori Lodge, is here joining us as well. So Lori, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I've been working with Satyavani over the last year with the Ayurvedic Women program through Zen Spot, and it's just been such a great program that as I was going through it, I was sharing a lot of information with people, and it seemed like there were a lot of younger women that were asking good questions, and I was picking their brains about things, and it just seemed like the next natural step to try and get this information into the hands of you guys as you're kind of venturing into the beginning of your life process. And so, yeah, so it's been a great adventure and really excited to be able to present this information and get your thoughts. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. So with the Illuminate Your Life class, we first wanted to ask why all of you are interested in this and why you're here. So Megan, you are my top right-hand corner box. So you're the right-hand corner square. So would you introduce yourself and tell us why you're interested in this?
Yeah, hi, I'm Megan. I live in Arizona. I teach a hot yoga class out here 3 times a week. So I've kind of found a lot of joy in teaching and practicing yoga. My mom and I connect on that. I think some of you probably know my mom, Libby. And she mentioned this program to me. She has gone through the women's Ayurvedic program and said that she learned a lot of really great things. And she wanted to share it with me. So the best way was to get me into this class. I am, interested in learning more about my health she said a lot about like connecting like the stomach to like mind and things like that, just kind of like eating better and feeling better mentally and that kind of stuff. So I'm here for the knowledge.
For the skills.
And the skills, of course. Yeah, to be able to share and add into my teachings as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. Chelsea, you are the bottom middle square.
Yeah, well, I'm Lori's daughter-in-law, so I watched her go through the Ayurvedic Women's program there, and I've always been a big believer in how everything is connected between how we intake and how our body utilizes it, whether it be energy or food. And I've always been more interested in how food kind of can be a healing property for ourselves rather than traditional medicine. That's always just been something I've just really felt strongly about. So when she started the Ayurvedic medicine or the program and how those older teachings are all about it's just fascinating to me. So yeah, I'd like to use this as kind of a course to learn a little bit more about it without jumping full blown into one, I guess.
Yet.
Yeah. I'm very interested in it, and it's always been a passion. And right now I'm gonna be applying for nursing, and eventually the goal is to apply nursing in with this kinds of other medicine. So yeah.
Thank you, Chelsea. That's really awesome to hear, because we need more women like you doing that kind of work. So that's very exciting. And when Lori approached me about developing this class, we called it the AWP Junior. So that was the running name until we decided like we probably should call this something else. And that's when we came up with Illuminate Your Life. So thank you for doing that. Paige, you are the middle left square. So
all right. Hi, I'm Paige. I found out about this class through Tiffany. She sent me like a kind of screenshot of like the main points, I guess, summary of what the class is. And I was like, hey, like this all looks like a bunch of like really important things. And yet I've never taken like a actual like professional class about these topics. You know, it's mostly just like kind of what I've discovered on myself, just like randomly, not even like looking for that information, you know? So it's like, I wonder how much I could learn from like a collective class through like actual teachers, you know? I think what really excites me is like just the women empowerment of it all, because I feel like our society kind of as a collective, like kind of pits women against each other that, you know, it's just not great. So it would just be, it's like a nice skill to learn. And yeah.
That's wonderful, Paige. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thanks
sharing
for
it.
sharing.
And Lori and I have had that discussion many times about that exact point with, you know, we need to be lifting our sisters up. We don't need to be, you know, women fighting women like that. It's hard enough being a woman in society as it is right now. And so to have your own sisters teaming up on you isn't helpful.
Right. Yep.
Thank you so much for bringing that idea and that concept to the fore, because it is a very real thing. So.
Yeah.
Mickey, we're glad you made it. Yay.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. We
Okay,
can.
sweet.
So we were just introducing ourselves and asking what drew us to come to this info session and what is interesting to you for this class.
Okay, right on. Yeah, Tiffany shared this with me and I thought it would just be interesting, definitely expand my horizons and learn a lot more about just different health things and all sorts of just asking some of those basic questions that can be like broadened, and you just, especially hearing from different people and thinking of different things that I didn't even think of. Yeah, all sorts of, it'd just be cool to learn a bunch more.
Awesome. And Mickey, are you local Boise, or where are you zooming in from?
Yes and no local. I am from Boise and I'll be back in April. I'm in Maryland right now.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry I came in late. I'm in the Army right now, and so I couldn't join on my phone because I had to be on Wi-Fi, and they blocked Zoom on our computers.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So I ran up. I'm in a barracks full of other people, so I found someone with a computer that hooks up on a separate Wi-Fi. So
Oh, nice. Well,
yeah. Anyways, yeah, coming from Maryland right now.
that's
Oh, so
great.
the
Thanks for
Army.
making the effort.
Wow. Yes, Lori's right. Thank you for making the effort to be here. You probably have a wealth of things to share as being a woman in the Army. So that'll be fascinating for us to dive deeper into and for you to share. So thank you for coming.
Thanks.
So we put together a little PowerPoint presentation that we will go through. And so I'm going to screen share with everybody right now. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. So I want to be able to hold on one second. You know what? Hang on one second, gals. I have to move all of you. I see all of your faces. And I have to move you to the bottom of the screen because I cannot. Whoop. Go from here and go from there. Beautiful. Okay. So we shall start once again. Okay. So the name of the class, this 6-week class, is Illuminate Your Life, and the focus is to talk about female health and wellness, teens through 30s, which all of you are in that category. And we wanted to welcome you back to yourself, because a lot of times we get pushed into being other than ourselves based on the environment that we're in, the careers that we have, the partners that we have, or our family relationships. And so myself and Lori will be co-teaching this class together. And just in case you couldn't see our faces, here are pictures. And both, well, Lori, since Paige and Mickey came on a little bit after you introduced yourself, would you just mind, giving a little bit of your background?
Yeah. So I am, my background is I've been an educator, a teacher in college and, elementary K through 12. I've been a school counselor, a career counselor, and then I also do, right now I am working almost full time, more than I want to as far as hours, being a mental health counselor. And I love that work. And then I'm also certified as a yoga instructor and have enjoyed that and have been through the Ayurvedic Women program, as we talked about, and have just learned a lot. So that's my background. I love this field and learning how to live a healthier life and being able to share that with others around that are interested.
Thank you, Lori. My name is Satyavani, and my background is Lori and I have a lot in common. I started out in K-12 education as a high school social studies teacher in New York City. And through many different iterations, found myself at the university level in university administration, and then left all of that. And my husband and I, we started Zen Spot. It is officially 14 years ago, actually 15 years ago now. And our focus over the past 15 years has been training yoga teachers or people to become yoga teachers, as well as Eastern medicine and wellness. So my husband's background is Chinese medicine, mine is Ayurvedic medicine, and also a yoga teacher, obviously, and just have a kind of weird eclectic background. And I had the great privilege of coming into relationship with Lori almost 2 years ago, and having her as a student in the level 1 of the Ayurvedic Woman program, and now she's in level 2. And this was something that came as a result of that. Just as Chelsea very accurately said, for those that don't want to commit to a full year program, but would like to get a taste first before they commit to that 1 year program. So, so there you go. So why this program? That a lot of you may be asking, like, where did this come from? How did this happen, et cetera? And like I said, this is the brainchild of Lori. So I'm going to have her talk about why was this program created?
Yeah, so as we were sharing this knowledge that I was learning through this class, I mean, I just found it really exciting. It was new in some ways, as far as I had not had a lot of exposure to Ayurvedic practices and principles, and just understanding, kind of taking a deeper dive into our lives as women and how we get to the places we get to sometimes without knowing. We get kind of caught in the flow in the river, and before we know it, we wind up somewhere where maybe we hadn't intended to be. So conversations started with other women, and then with younger women too, who were through my counseling practice, and also just younger women that I've had the opportunity to be around, and just recognize that there were some common discussions going on, that we were all kind of struggling to find our path, our career, our purpose, whatever it is in life, and we all come to it in different ways. And so a lot of sharing of women saying that they're dealing with self-doubt, depression, anxiety, the feeling stuck, confused, sometimes feeling less than others, because we start to see that somebody's doing something over here, and then we start to evaluate and go down our list to say, well, gosh, they're doing all these things and it looks like they have everything together. Why don't I? And so that's a phrase I hear often, and women struggling with it. So as I was finishing up the AWP program last year, I kept frequently saying, I wished I would have known this when I was in my 20s. I think I would have probably done something very different. I mean, I know I probably would have still been in the healthcare area and counseling, yoga-ish, but I don't know if I would have done all the years in public education and all of that. I think I probably may have taken a slightly different path. So anyway, I just thought that what a gift to be able to start these conversations at the beginning when somebody's in their, early um, teens, 20s, and 30s, just to help kind of open up the opportunities that are out there.
Thank you, Lori. Such a great story. And then you continued because people were asking the same question. And I love
Yeah.
the first question, which is my personal favorite.
Well, yeah, why does everybody else around me seem to have their shit or their life plan figured out? And I hear that because it comes from frustration. And also it's like, I don't understand, where did I miss the steps is what I hear from people, or where did they get the magic information to know how to get themselves into the right place? And so, and the other pieces were, how can I find some of that happiness, peace, and confidence to be able to take those next steps and to know how to do this? And that's the beauty of this program I went through last year. It gives you a lot of time to read, reflect, do that deeper dive that you get to journal and ask questions and have really amazing discussions with amazing women. And I just found that really opened a lot of new opportunities to be able to experience and express, and amazing women come into your life. I just feel so grateful for the group of women that I was able to take this journey with and then be able to share it with other people.
Mhm.
And so where and how do I begin to take the first steps toward creating a different outcome for myself?
Mhm.
That's where I think the beauty of this program is going to help you guys start to ask more questions and maybe do some deeper reflections.
Mhm. Thank you, Lori. So good. So in this program, for those of you that saw the flyer, there's some key questions that we wanted to explore that really dovetail with what Lori has shared already, which is, what does it mean to be a woman? And Paige, you brought up just a wonderful topic there about the idea of female competition, et cetera. And and what society has out there as to what the quote ideal female is. But that, for the record, and I won't speak for Lori, but I think I can speak for her in this sense of making the statement that everything that's out there that society says is the right thing to be a woman is absolutely garbage. And that, what it means to be a woman is how you on the inside define what it means to be a woman for you. And that's going to be different for every single woman that participates in this class. The other part is, which touches on what Mickey was saying, is, how can I become an empowered woman? And that leads to some of the points that Lori experienced in her conversations, and I've experienced in my conversations with the women who are in the AWP, patients and clients of mine, et cetera, that, how do I get to a space where I feel empowered and confident and fortified in myself in order to go out into the world and be the best version of myself, regardless of what society or my family or anybody says. And then how can I connect and maintain strong female relationships throughout my life? Those relationships are going to change. Who you are friends with and who you interact with now will be different in 10 years from now. It was probably different 10 years ago. So how do you maintain those relationships in a way that is profound and deep, not on the superficial level? And then how do I live a healthy and a full life? Because health starts with our entire being. It is not just our physical health, but it is our mental, emotional health. And how do those interact with how I proceed in the world. And so everything it is that we talk about over the 6 weeks is going to surround around these 4 questions. So many of you might be asking, well, what the heck is Ayurveda? That word is really weirdly spelled. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And so here we are with this. So Ayurveda translates to mean the science of life. And it is the most ancient health science on the planet. It is 5,000 years old. It is older than traditional Chinese medicine, and it is probably about 4,500 years older than Western allopathic medicine. And many years ago, when I was in the category of all of your age, I was 19 years old, and I was in a bicycle accident. I was a professionally trained triathlete and a competitive swimmer, and lived on the East Coast, and came from a very traditional Irish Catholic family that was extremely competitive and very type A. And one day I was riding my bicycle in New York City, which rule number 1, don't do that. Rule number 2 is that upon getting hit by a car on my bicycle, I sustained a lot of injuries and went through 18 and a half months of surgery and recovery. And what happened as a result of that was transformative in my life. I gained 75 pounds. My athletic career was over. I was behind in my school studies, and I fell into a very, very deep depression. And it took so many different iterations of myself to finally get out of that. And the way that I got out of it was I found Ayurveda. One day I walked into a yoga studio. I started my yoga practice, and I heard this word Ayurveda that was kind of drifting out there from one of the instructors. And lo and behold, I took myself to Barnes & Noble bookstore in Union Square in New York City. And this was at a time when these kind of new age, if you would, or Eastern wellness was not as popular as it is right now. And I went and I went up to the clerk at the information desk, and I said, I need a book on this thing. And I said, I don't really know how to really know how to pronounce it, but this is how you spell it. And so she took me to this bookshelf, and that had like 10 books on it. And she's like, I think I've got something. And so so she found this book for me. It was called Ayurveda for Beauty Care, and I still have it to this day. It was my first Ayurveda book. And I rapidly read through it, and I was like, wow, this really makes sense to me. And it is a philosophy for living a balanced and healthy life in mind, body, and spirit. It wasn't, okay, you have this injury, so let's give you this medicine, let's give you this pill, etc. But rather, this injury is also part of a larger ecosystem of your body that involves your mind and your spirit. And so Ayurveda is not only the oldest medical science in the entire world, but it's a health system that teaches us how to live well and how to take care of ourselves as we grow, develop, and age. It's a roadmap that leads us to our true self, who the universe intended us to be, regardless of what society and culture wants us to believe. And it's a way to create meaning in our lives so we can be our best selves and live our best lives. Ayurveda is the backdrop of this class. And so we're going to use Ayurvedic principles in a very approachable way, so that these are things that will make sense to you, you can make connections with, and that you can incorporate in your daily life, so that we can use that as a vehicle to get at those key questions that we just discussed on the previous slide. So what topics will we discuss in this program? So, oh, the places you'll go, to quote Dr. Seuss. We will talk about Ayurvedic constitution types, which is each of you are a unique being. And so what are the constitution types, or the mind-body types that exist in Ayurveda? And what does that mean for you, so that you can better understand you? And so why is my personality this way? Why is my physical body this way? Why is my mental emotional state this way, et cetera? And so when we talk about Ayurvedic constitution types, you'll get an idea of what those are and be able to say, oh, I understand now. This makes sense to me. We will talk about physical and emotional balance. the idea of energy versus depletion, because a lot of us at this age and stage in your life, there are more and more women that I've been having discussion with, and I'm sure Lori has, that are talking about, I just feel so depleted all the time. We're trying to do all the things. We're trying to go to school and have our first job. Maybe we're having our first child. Maybe it's a career change. Maybe our first partner, buying our new house, whatever the case, purchasing a new car, having a pet, all of these things that require energy. And so how do we balance energy and depletion? We'll talk about the importance of food as medicine, as Chelsea pointed out early on in this meeting, and how food can not only aid in medicine, but will aid in digestion, because from an Ayurvedic perspective, digestion is the key to health. And we look at digestion from a very large perspective. It's not just the food that you put in, how it digests in your stomach and how you eliminate it, but rather, how are you digesting your experiences? How are you digesting life? And how is that incorporated into your being? We will discuss relationships with ourselves, which is the most important relationship, as well as our relationships with others. And we'll also talk about personal sovereignty and the importance of making commitments. How do we make commitments to ourselves so that those commitments go out into the world and we feel fortified and strong in being an empowered woman? And there'll be more. So Lori's going to discuss a little bit about the importance of self-care, which will be a theme throughout this class, and why it's necessary. I put this quote in here. Well, actually, Lori put this quote in here. So Lori, it's all you.
Yep. Yeah, so what we're seeing, and I think a lot of us are experiencing and feeling, and maybe you're hearing this from people around you, but I just like this, it was just made it very succinct. Between holding down a job, maintaining relationships, and caring for her family, a woman often blows through the energy she earns from sleep, good food, good company. Her daily needs repeatedly outpace her daily intake of energy. The result, she has to dip into her reserves, which depletes her core nourishment. There is no more sustainable than spending money we don't have. Just as there comes a time when we can no longer ignore financial debt, there comes a time when energy deficit becomes unsustainable. When that happens, it is not only economies that need bailouts, our bodies and minds do too.
I love that.
Yeah. And so what happens with that is I hear so many women and young women saying that they just don't have the energy. They're exhausted all the time. They're depleted. They just don't have any more to give to people. And so that's why I think this work that we're going to be doing is helping you to understand everything from what Chelsea was talking about, the food intake, to what your thoughts are, how you flow and roll throughout your day. Is it just happening? You kind of let life happen, or do you try to take more control over what you're doing and how you do this? So how we go about taking care of ourselves. Once again, society tells women we need to cover it and do it all for everyone, family, friends, employers. And if there's anything left over, we can then take care of ourselves.
Wrong.
Yes. And I was just having this conversation actually with a client about 2 days ago, who is a person who has a lot of talents, and she gives everything to everybody else. And she's finding that there is just nothing left in her tank to do anything for herself. And she has been, she said, programmed from an early age that that's how you do it, because that's what her female role models around her were doing, that you take care of everybody else and give and give and give. And, if there's something left over, then yay for you. But if not, kind of like that sucks. And she's to the point, she's, I think in her early 30s, and she's questioning, she said, I just don't have it to give. And what do I do? and I know I'm in a crisis point. So that's what she's kind of reflecting back, and what do we need to do to change this? So what we find is that we have nothing left to give ourselves because we've depleted our energy and our nutritional reserves. And so learning the lessons of self-care as a young woman can bring a lifetime gift of self-love, compassion, health, life direction, happiness, and joy. And ignoring self-care may bring about anxiety, depression, depletion, fatigue, isolation, lack of focus, and life direction. And that feels really heavy when I hear young women saying from, their early teens up through age 30, that this is how I feel every day. I feel exhausted. I feel fatigued. I have a lack of focus. I have brain fog. And that's no way to go through life. And so what we want you guys to understand is there's a different way to do it, and you can pick the path for you. We're not going to say you have to do path A, B, or C. You get to pull the things that work for you. And that's what I found through this program, is that, and I'm still learning, and I have a lot to learn still, but there are pieces that you can take to make your path, whatever it is that you need to make it. If you want to focus more on nutrition, if you want to focus more on nutrition and, different pieces that will present to you, then you get to do that. And you get to spend more time taking what I call a deeper dive and learning more about you and how to integrate all of this great knowledge into whatever you want to do to go forward. So it's kind of, which path do you want to choose? The path of self-care or the path of depletion? And I've been on the path of depletion too, throughout my life at times, and it's not good for anybody. So if I'm not taking care of myself, the people around me are not getting the nurturing that they need. And that's hard to be able to say that when you feel like you haven't given your all to yourself first and then to the others around you.
Thank you, Lori. So good. I want to sign up. What do I do? What do I get? So I'm going to give you the scoop. So for those of you that may or may not have seen the flyer, the class starts on Thursday, April 1st, and it runs for 6 weeks. So the first class will be April 1st, and the last class will be May 6th. It's 2 hours, just once a week on Thursdays. And there is an in-person option. So if you're local Boise, or you're coming back to Boise, you can come over to the Zen Spot Institute in Suite 100 and be there. And we also have a Zoom room set up as well. So if you are at a distance, like Megan and Chelsea, you can Zoom on in. We have both available for you. The cost of the program is $199, and that will include the textbook that we are using, any additional materials. And so Lori's holding up the textbook there. It is called The Ayurvedic Woman. And I know both Megan and I'm not sure if you have the book yet, Chelsea, but I know Megan, because I think your mom passed that along to you. So
I have a different one.
Oh, okay. I think you have the Prime. That's fine. No big deal.
That's the one that I have.
That's the one. Yeah. So, but everybody will get a textbook, and in addition, there will also be additional class materials. So if when Lori and I do presentations, or there's other additional handouts, you'll have that. We have an electronic student database, and so we will have a student folder for the class that we will record all of the sessions. So if there's something super juicy that you're like, oh, I really want to go back and look at that, the recorded class sessions will be in there, as well as any additional handouts or materials that, as we have the conversation along the way, that seem to jump out, we can share in that space, and you can easily download it. Each of the 6 sessions will either end with a yin yoga class that will be taught by Lori, or a yoga nidra class, which will be taught by me. So you'll get those experiences. So it's not just us chit-chatting the whole time, which is a wonderful part of it, and sharing and learning, but also gives you the opportunity to embody some of these practices that will help you really integrate what it is that you're learning. What we decided also is that the Zen Spot Institute offers every week a meditation class, and a Qigong class. So for those of you that are not, that are interested in other alternative movement classes, Qigong is Chinese yoga. And so during the 6 weeks, the meditation class happens on Sundays, and the Qigong class happens on Wednesday evenings. And so those will be free to you as well. So you can come and attend those either in person or online. So you have an option for those as well. And both of those classes are recorded too. So if you're like, oh, I'd really like to do it, but I have to miss this week, you have the option to be able to catch up on that online.
And those, I would just jump in. Those are
Yes.
really great classes. I have participated in the meditation class, and Michael has taught some Qigong, and those are just additional beautiful practices to know about and to take a deeper dive on too. So I thank you, Satyavani, for offering that.
Of course. Thank
part
you,
of this.
Lori. Thank you for jumping in and talking about your experience on that. And that, so we're trying to set a deadline of March 25th to register for the class, because each of you may be in different locations. So those that are Zooming in online, I have to get the textbooks mailed to you. So that will give at least a week for all of that to happen. And so I can have a head count. Otherwise, if you register like the day before, then you may be without a textbook for the first week, and I don't want to see that happen. So, and neither does Lori.
Yeah.
Very easy for you to register. You can go to our website, ZenspotInstitute.com, and it's right there on the homepage. If you scroll down midway, you'll see Illuminate Your Life. You can click on that and it'll walk you through the registration process. So we will take Q&A right now for sure, and I'll stop sharing. But if you have any questions that pop up in your mind later on, you are welcome to email info@Zenspotinstitute.com. So let me just escape out of here. I'm going to stop screen sharing, and yeah, any questions or thoughts, or is this something that you're like, yes, I want to do this, or I'm not really sure, or you're kind of hanging in the balance there? Lori and I are happy to take any questions. Paige.
I don't have any questions, but I'm excited. I thought the presentation was really nice, and
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Paige, you know what? Is it possible for me to get your email address? Because
Yeah, sure.
I don't have that, and I would just like to have it so I can follow up with you.
Mhm.
Go
Are you
ahead.
ready? Okay.
Yeah.
It's PM Palmquist, just my last name. It's on the Zoom.
PALMQUIST.
Yeah.
Mhm.
0@gmail.com.
At Gmail. You got it. Awesome. Thank you, love.
Mhm.
And Mickey, I think I do have your contact information, because I think you pre-registered, correct?
I haven't done any registration yet.
You registered for this info session though, didn't you?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So I have your email address. Great. Hi, Drissa. Thank you for joining.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I've been listening the whole
Excellent.
time, but I'm for this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to everything. My mom told me about it. I tried to access the thing yesterday, and so I was like, I'm confused, but she said it was today.
Yes. I'm glad you were able to get on. We recorded this as well. So if you missed the first part before we went into the presentation, I'll send the link out to everybody so that if you wanted to catch up.
Okay, perfect.
Did you have any questions, Drissa, or was this something that you're like, yeah, I want to do it, or you tell me?
I don't really have any questions. I think the presentation was super informative, and my mom kind of did explain kind of what it would be about, and I'm definitely on board with everything. So I'm excited to start doing it.
Awesome. Yay, Drissa. We're happy that you're going to join us. Mickey or Chelsea, Megan, any questions or thoughts?
I think it sounds great. You guys spring forward this Sunday, correct?
We do. That's right. Because
Okay.
in Arizona,
So
you
it'll
don't.
be, yeah. So it'll be 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for me.
That's
I might be
correct.
I'm going to try to leave work a little early on those days. It shouldn't be a problem.
Got it.
But
Yep. And like I said,
that
we'll
was the only
record-
thing that I really thought about.
Wonderful. That's right. I totally forgot that. My
Yeah.
I know,
goodness.
it's kind of funny.
I know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be right now, it would be 7:45 and you will be 2 hours behind that. Or is it 1 hour?
It's one. So I'm the same with you guys right now.
Got it.
And then
Okay.
you spring forward and I stay.
Got it. Got it. Right. So when we start at 6, you'll be at 5 and gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. So, and like I said, we'll record the session. So if you come in 10, 15 minutes late or whatever on those days, we've got you covered.
Great. Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sounds great. I'm so excited.
We're excited to have you join us. Mickey, anything? Any questions or concerns or thoughts?
No, I think it was good. I like seeing the presentation. So
Thumbs
Yeah.
up. Awesome. Chelsea, we good?
I'm good. I'm really excited. I'm gonna try and get my sister on board with it.
Hey,
She's got a lot on her plate going on right now, so I don't know if she's gonna be willing or able to do it, but I think it would benefit her a
totally.
great personal level. So I'm gonna try and talk to her and see if she'll, but she's in Alaska, so
Yay.
we'll see. I don't know. I know she's got a funky work schedule too. She takes care of elderly people.
Sure.
So she's got all sorts of a weird schedule going on. So I don't know if it'll be possible for her or not, but
No problem.
yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Awesome. And gals, what we wanted to offer you for coming to the info session tonight is if you get a friend to sign up, we'll take $10 off the class. So so it'd be $189 for those of you that attended the info session tonight. And just let us know if you send somebody our way. What I'll do is Lori and I will follow up with an email with a link to this presentation so you can even, and even we'll attach the flyer to it as well. So you can forward the presentation link as well as the flyer to anybody. And then if they decide like, yeah, I want to do it, just let them let us know that, hey, Chelsea sent me, Paige sent me, Drissa sent me, Mickey, whomever, Megan. Okay. We want to share the love, want to share all of it. So Lori,
Yeah.
was there anything else that you wanted to share or?
No, just to say thank you for taking the time tonight and to, I just think it's going to be a beautiful journey for all of you on your own level, and you'll find your path and pick what's important to you. And I think the dialogues that you'll have with each other, because we will have opportunity to talk and share with each other on questions and different things. Those were probably some of the more powerful things that I took away from the AWP women's program, is just having those conversations at a deeper level with women that we just don't get the opportunity to do every day because we are so busy and so pushed and rushed, that this class is going to allow you to take some time to do some exploration and have some conversations. So starting to understand how to build those lifelong relationships with amazing women.
Thank
So.
you for that, Lori. I agree. Best part of it is connecting and sharing and having that common shared experience is really a very, very powerful thing. So I too want to thank all of you for taking your time today to attend this session, and please register, ask questions. We would love to have you join. And if there's anything that comes up, Lori and I will put our contact information in the follow-up email so you can always ask us directly. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You have a great rest of your evening, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
cool.
Bye.
Bye.